Across the rolling mists of maritime legend, one ghost ship looms above all others, the Flying Dutchman, shrouded in supernatural fog and doomed to wander the oceans for eternity. This cursed vessel has haunted the imaginations of sailors, storytellers, and scholars alike for centuries. A chilling blend of myth, morality tale, and oceanic enigma, the tale of the Flying Dutchman is not just a ghost story, it's a glimpse into the soul of the sea itself. Origins of the legend. The legend's roots stretch back to the golden age of exploration in the 17th century, when the Dutch East India Company ruled the waves and trade routes ran through perilous waters. Chief among these deadly stretches was the Cape of Good Hope, a treacherous point at the southern tip of Africa, where sailors often met their doom in furious storms. It is here, amidst the lightning and the roaring surf, that the story of the Flying Dutchman was born. According to the most enduring version, a Dutch sea captain often named Hendrik van der Decken refused to turn back when his ship was caught in a monstrous storm. Some say he swore at the heavens, others that he struck a Faustian bargain with the devil himself. Whatever the specifics, his defiance sealed his fate. As punishment, he and his crew were condemned to sail the seas forever, never reaching port, never knowing peace. Other versions of the legend suggest the crew committed a grievous sin, such as mutiny or murder, which led to divine punishment. These alternative narratives only deepen the moral themes at the heart of the tale, underscoring the consequences of hubris and moral transgression on the high seas. A tale that refuses to die. Like the ship itself, the story of the Flying Dutchman has traveled far and wide, taking on new details and dark flourishes along the way. By the 18th century, sailors were whispering about a phantom ship that appeared out of nowhere, glowing with an eerie light, only to vanish just as suddenly. These spectral sightings fueled the lore and gave rise to countless variations. Some accounts describe the crew as skeletal specters, toiling under tattered sails. Others claim the ship appears as a ghostly harbinger, a floating omen of death and disaster. In some versions, the doomed crew desperately hails passing ships, begging them to carry messages to loved ones long since buried. Always, there is the sense of deep sorrow and endless longing, a voyage that can never end. Reports of encounters with the Flying Dutchman were often accompanied by dire consequences. Storms, shipwrecks, or mysterious disappearances were linked to sightings, and tales of entire crews driven mad by the vision of the phantom ship spread like wildfire. In this way, the myth served as both entertainment and warning. The legend in literature and art. The Flying Dutchman was a tale made for the Romantic era, and 19th century writers and artists embraced it with open arms. Although not directly based on the legend, Samuel Taylor Coleridge's The Rime of the Ancient Mariner shares many of its themes: supernatural punishment, eternal wandering, and the mysterious power of the sea. But it was Richard Wagner who immortalized the tale in music. His 1843 opera, Der Vliegende Hollander, The Flying Dutchman, offered a new twist, a chance at redemption. In Wagner's haunting vision, the Dutchman can be freed from his curse by the faithful love of a woman named Senta. Through soaring arias and thunderous orchestration, Wagner turned the myth into a sweeping tragedy of love, sacrifice, and salvation. Visual artists, too, found inspiration in the ghostly ship. The haunting canvases of Albert Pinkham Ryder and Howard Pyle captured the eerie majesty of the phantom vessel, its sails like shrouds against stormy skies. These images, dreamlike and disturbing, burned the Dutchman's image into the collective mind, a symbol of the sea and the self. More than just a ghost story, the Flying Dutchman is a potent symbol, a floating allegory that reflects the fears, hopes, and moral anxieties of seafaring life. It warns of pride and defiance, of tempting fate, of challenging nature or the divine. The doomed ship, adrift forever on an uncaring ocean, stands as a metaphor for isolation, punishment and the dark side of human ambition. To sailors, the sighting of the Flying Dutchman was not just spooky folklore. It was a bad omen, a spectral sign that something terrible was on the horizon. The image of a ghostly ship trying to send messages from the beyond carries an eerie resonance. What are we, after all, but vessels trying to make our voices heard before we vanish into the mist? The legend also speaks to the relentless nature of time and the human condition. The idea of being bound to a single goal, with no hope of release, mirrors many struggles people face in their own lives. The Flying Dutchman, in this sense, becomes a reflection of the internal storms that rage within us. Eyewitness accounts and maritime mysteries. While many legends remain landlocked, the Flying Dutchman has been spotted at sea, or so sailors have claimed. Perhaps the most famous report comes from none other than Prince George of Wales, later King George V, who in 1881 was aboard the HMS Bacchant when he claimed to see the ghost ship off the coast of Australia. According to his journal, the ship glowed with a strange crimson light and vanished before their eyes. Scientists offer rational explanations. Atmospheric distortions, such as the Fata Morgana mirage, can create illusions of ships hovering above the waves. But for those who saw it, or thought they did, the experience felt all too real. The sea, after all, is a master of illusion, and what better trick than a ghost ship, caught forever between storm and salvation? Accounts also suggest that the legend was used to instill discipline among sailors. The fear of encountering the Dutchman may have served as a deterrent against mutiny, cowardice, or disobedience, further entwining the myth with the moral codes of maritime life. The Flying Dutchman in pop culture. The legend of the Flying Dutchman has found new life in modern media. From books and films to cartoons and video games, the tale continues to resonate with audiences. In Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, the Flying Dutchman is reimagined as a barnacle-encrusted leviathan captained by the tentacled Davy Jones. Though drawn from a different mythos, the character borrows heavily from the Dutchman legend, combining the themes of damnation and the sea's dark magic. Even in the whimsical world of SpongeBob SquarePants, the Flying Dutchman makes an appearance, a ghostly green pirate with a penchant for spooking undersea residents. The fact that the legend can span such tonal extremes from tragic opera to children's comedy is a testament to its enduring power. Video games, too, have embraced the story. From titles like Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag to Sea of Thieves, the concept of a cursed ghost ship enhances gameplay and adds a layer of eerie mystique. Each new iteration reimagines the legend while maintaining its haunting core. Deeper meanings, the soul of the legend. Beyond the scares and the spectacle lies something deeper. Psychologists and philosophers have long been drawn to the Flying Dutchman as a symbol of the human psyche. Carl Jung, famed for his exploration of archetypes and the collective unconscious, might interpret the Dutchman as a symbol of the wanderer, or the outcast archetype, a soul unmoored, seeking meaning in an indifferent world. The ship's endless wandering becomes a metaphor for the inner journey of guilt, redemption, and existential dread. What sins have we committed that keep us from making port? What storms rage within us, driving us ever forward yet never home? Philosophically, the Flying Dutchman poses the question of what it means to be truly lost, not just physically, but spiritually and emotionally. It forces us to confront our own fears of irredeemability and the loneliness that comes with being severed from all points of return. The ghost ship that won't fade. In an age of satellites, GPS, and space exploration, the idea of a ghost ship haunting the sea might seem quaint, and yet, the Flying Dutchman sails on, its legend undiminished. Perhaps that's because the story speaks to something eternal. We all fear being lost, forgotten, cursed to drift without purpose. The Flying Dutchman gives that fear a face, a mast, a torn sail caught in endless wind. As long as there are oceans, and as long as there are people who dream, the legend will remain. It may change with the telling, grow grander or more grotesque, become a metaphor or a meme, but it will not die. Like the ship itself, it is cursed with immortality. If this stirred your imagination, if this voyage into the legend of the Flying Dutchman stirred your imagination or sent a shiver down your spine, don't let the tale end here. Hit that like button. Subscribe for more captivating stories from the depths of myth and history.